Yo, Thought Warriors. What is up? Our learning is on. It's Lathan.
And it's me, Rachel and Lindsay.
Rachel, I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
Maybe. What lake?
No.
You don't even know.
It's a pop quiz?
It's not a pop quiz. It's something that just popped up in my email.
Okay, what lake?
Which lake could hold millions in gold? It's from Interesting Facts.
Is it in this country?
I don't know. I think this is spam. I don't know why I even asked you. 7 mysterious hidden treasures. The 33 hottest inventions of 2024. Want to see what they are?
No.
Interesting Facts. Why am I reading this spam? They're just
I don't know. You just keep going. You went from one thing to the next.
The photo stick Omni.
Van, how are you? How was your birthday?
It sucked.
Okay. This Debbie Downer, negative Ned
What do you
attitude
mean?
has got to stop.
You know what's funny? Is I'm losing my mind and nobody can tell. And that's hilarious.
You don't think people notice something's
No,
off?
they can't. I'm telling you, I'm too good. I'm too good. Like, I'm too good at it. And I'm also just quirky enough to where when I snap, which is coming, when the cord completely rips.
Okay, so what can we do to stop the bleeding?
Nothing. Just let it happen. Because it'll be better. When I snap, when it completely frays and pulls apart, people will be like, Jesus Christ, when they didn't see anything. But because I'm just quirky enough regular to make, so like when things happen, they don't really pick up on it.
If you want to be honest, you seem off. You've seemed off.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well of a job you're doing, but I mean,
they don't know.
Obviously, I don't know the depths of it.
They don't know.
You know who probably knows more than anybody? Reddit.
Reddit might know.
There are probably several threads. Is Vanna okay?
Is Vanna? Nah, man. I'm exhausted.
You're traveling again?
I gotta travel again. I got 3 cities coming up.
Oh my gosh.
I got Minneapolis, and then I got Denver, and then I got DC.
Okay.
So I leave from Minneapolis Monday, and then DC the weekend, and then I come back for a little bit, and then I go to Denver.
Are you doing anything fun?
I'm doing whatever I have to do.
Working?
I'm doing the stuff.
Denver may be where you crack. The altitude.
Denver? Is it going to be hard to breathe and stuff?
No. It's not that. It's not as high as like an Aspen.
Why is it?
But I just feel like maybe that might be
fuck
where
with you? Does Denver fuck with people?
Altitude, yeah.
I would like to go to Denver so I can hate on the Nuggets. I fucking hate the Nuggets. I hate them. I hate the whole team.
About 5,300 feet above sea level.
So what does that mean?
That's why it's called the Mile High City.
I understand this. Okay, I get it. The question is, how's it going to affect me? Why are you saying that's where I'm going to snap?
I just feel like that might be the thing that throws you off. Have you ever had altitude sickness before?
No. What happens?
I've never had it, but I've been affected a little bit by it. Like sometimes you get short of breath, you get a little nauseous, kind of feeling like a little vertigo. Not as hungry. Drink.
Where do you go? Where were you when this happened?
Aspen and Vail.
You're in Aspen and Vail? You're like, oh my God, I want to have a piece of pork.
Well, you just drink and keep it moving.
I say, I don't want to have a pork. That's how we know. That's the test of whether or not you have.
Ashleigh said make sure you lotion up before Denver and drink a lot of water. Because that's that.
Ashiness?
And the water for altitude sickness.
Yeah, I'm a little off. You know what else has got me off?
What?
The shittiness of this era.
Are you shitting on the generation?
No, because I'm a part of it.
Well, no, you're not a part of this new generation.
No, I'm not talking about the new generation. It's not one group of people.
I'll get closer to the mic. Is it the things that we care about?
You're eating on the thing.
No, I'm not. Don't tell people that. People who are listening would not know.
They watching it.
They would not know. Not everybody watches.
They watching it. Why you?
And I have nothing in my mouth right now.
You're eating.
I need it.
You're eating on the thing. You couldn't have eaten those grapes before you got here on the car.
Eating bacon.
You were eating bacon, nigga. Your birthday. Your breakfast was bacon and grapes.
That's one of my favorite things to eat for breakfast.
Oh my God, bacon and grapes for breakfast. Your pork-based diet has to be examined.
I don't have bacon every day.
How often would you say that you eat bacon?
I haven't had bacon. Oh, wait, no, because I was in Arizona. Okay, I had bacon on Tuesday. I've only had it twice this week.
2 weeks? And then did you have other pork products?
No.
No pork?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't. Look. I've been having chicken.
Look at you!
And I had shrimp. Yeah.
What were we talking about? I can't remember.
Okay, not pork. Oh, this era. Is it because you're frustrated with the things that we care about, that we place emphasis on? Because I find that a little...
No, I think I think the thing that frustrates me is this. Okay, so I know that I come off like a know-it-all, but that only happens because of my disagreeable way of communicating. I am desperately insecure. Okay, so I communicate in a forceful way.
Okay, so do I.
And that makes people feel like I'm asserting some sort of intellectual dominance on them. Right?
When people say the phrase like, you're stating your opinion like it's fact.
Right.
That's what it, like that.
The only reason why that happens is because I do a lot of work. Like, part of the exhaustion that I'm going through right now, and it's the first time in life to where I've really, really dealt with being tired, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't stop. I gotta keep going. I gotta suck it up and keep going, all right? I'm gonna say pause. Fuck it. Just gotta keep going. But I do a lot of work, man. I try, because I care about, and I get things wrong all the time, but I care about fucking knowing what I'm talking about. Okay. Like, I care about at least having some intellectual skin in the game of a conversation.
Okay.
And that is gone. And we have contrarianism that is being passed off as knowledge. We have stanism that's being passed off as genuine intellectual opinion and criticism. We have tribalism that's being passed off as a point of view. And what we don't have are just people that look at things and talk about them in good faith anymore. And I am as much a slave to bias as anyone else. But I at least make the attempt to not be a ridiculous dick rider, a fucking sheep, a part of a flock, and a part of a group, for better or worse. It just seems like all the time I'm having conversations and people are not willing to make even the smallest concessions about points that make them feel even slightly uncomfortable. Like, when I say slightly uncomfortable, have you considered is the beginning of it, right? And the whole Candace Owens thing from a couple of weeks ago is deeply disappointing the more I think about it. The more I think about it, it's just deeply disappointing to, like, have this conversation and approach this in a way that completely sanitizes and washes away years and years and years of consistency. But from her, I don't want to make it all about her, but like,
it's just an example. But yes,
it's just, we have to talk about things and reorganize things in ways that are intellectually false. And if you don't do it, you're seen as a bad student of discussion. When there are certain realities, and then there are certain things that aren't true. Last thing before I get off this. Like, and maybe things have always been like this, and I'm sure that they have been. I read an article on Yahoo about Truth Social. And it was about people that have invested into Truth Social. They keep losing their fucking money.
And they keep investing.
They keep losing their money. Truth Social has lost something like $5 billion since its IPO.
I never knew it.
They keep losing their money. But as soon as any of them complain about the fact that it keeps going down and down and down and down and down, other people who are investing jump on them and say, are you being overly critical? There's like a little 3-letter term that they use for people who aren't on the ship. I'm like, fuck. So you mean to tell me if you're one of these kooks that has invested and you're fucking stupid, if you're one of these kooks that has invested into something that Trump and the rest of his cronies told people was going to be worth $1 trillion, and you see that you continue to lose your money, if you actually look up and go, hey, I'm losing bread, is anything going to change? We're talking about regular people who've put $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 of their own money into this, and they're losing bread. Some people, $1,000, $2,000 of their own money into it. And like, they're not allowed to be like, what, or we come down on them. And even with us here, when we're talking about our disillusionment with political parties, when we're talking about things that are obviously true, we just can't even have the conversation. That's draining to me because I come on the podcast all the time and I spend a lot of my time both diving into information, but also trying to figure out how to say it in a way that won't trigger people in a world that is perpetually triggered because every fucking day we open our shit and we see dogs getting run over and pestilence and plagues in Dubai and all of that shit. So everybody's so on edge. It's just a lot of work. And it's taking a toll on me because I try. Now, it's there's a lot of other stuff going on, a lot of personal stuff that's happening, and it's a lot of things that's going on and shit's so it's very I turned 44 and all overnight I felt old. But at the same time, I'll just be honest with you. I'm tired of sugarcoating what I know to be true for a lot of these motherfuckers.
Okay, so stop. I think it's
impossible.
I think no, it does. It's not impossible to sugarcoat. I don't know. You know why I don't know? Because I don't do what you do.
Liar.
I don't do what you do in the sense of you not. Of course, you research. And so you can be knowledgeable and communicate it a certain way. But what you also do that I don't do is you take these conversations outside of the podcast and you have them with people, whether it's in social media, whether it's with your friends.
Yeah.
You keep these conversations going. That's exhausting.
I'm a gladiator.
And you're trying to convince them of something that, you believe and know to be true. And they're coming at you not on the same level because they're not as researched or well-versed or whatever it may be. And that's frustrating, but you do it all the time.
I like it.
I don't do that. No, you don't like it. Look, it's wearing on you. You talked about unraveling. Somebody pulled on your string before you walked into the store because that 30-minute rant is a tribute to it, which I'm glad you got it off your chest. That's the space for higher learning.
You ever see Beetlejuice?
Come on. I've only seen the part where they dance around the table.
So Beetlejuice is a freak, and let me tell you why. I was watching Beetlejuice last night because I was watching movies to make me feel good.
Is that one that makes you feel
good? Yeah, Beetlejuice makes me feel good. And when I was watching Beetlejuice, I noticed something that Beetlejuice said when he was singing the song. Beetlejuice said, I'll eat anything you want me to eat. I'll swallow anything you want me to swallow. Come on down now. We talked about this? Beetlejuice is nasty as shit.
Why was he saying that? Can you add context to that?
Hold on. I got to find the song. I'll eat anything, yeah.
No.
Oh, it's a commercial. Listen.
So, say it once, say it twice, third time's the charm. And remember, I'll eat anything you want me to eat. I'll swallow anything you want me to swallow. Come on down now. Chew on a dog. Oh!
What is it advertising?
He's advertising his fucking services as a spiritual...
What is he?
He's like a demon, though, that gets rid of living people. Beetlejuice is a human exorcist.
Interesting.
So if you are a ghost and you're having problems with the living, Beetlejuice gets rid of the living people by terrorizing them so that they leave. And in the movie, Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin,
they don't know they're ghosts, right?
Well,
Isn't that the twist?
No, wrong. You're wrong. You're confusing this with either The Others or Sixth Sense.
Both I've seen. Both I have seen. So
right.
Possibly true.
Right. You're confusing that with this. No, but they, at first they don't know, but then they walk outside and there's a big sandworm and they can't leave the house. They're confined to the house. They don't realize that they drowned in the thing. And then Beetlejuice has
drowned in what?
They drowned at the beginning of the movie. They're trying to drive across the thing and the fucking, he yanks the wheel to avoid a dog, and then the car falls into the river or the lake or whatever, and then they drown in it, and then they come back to their house, and they don't realize that time has passed, they're ghosts, and then they have to get rid of the people that moved in because they had just built the house or they were just fixing the house up. It was their dream house, and then they try to get Beetlejuice. Anyway, look, here's the thing.
Why did you bring up the eat anything you want me to eat? I feel like you were going somewhere and
No, that's it just popped in my mind. There's another thing that's happening. Like last night I had a dream.
Guys.
It just popped in my mind. Last night I had a dream that I went to Jamaica and I was in Jamaica and a guy tried to break into the house I was staying in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And I shot him in the chest with a sawed-off shotgun. He wouldn't die. I keep saying this nigga everywhere I went. I went to the store to try to get...
What did he look like?
Black dude, bald head. Wouldn't die. Shot him in the chest. What? What? Who is it? Oh, shut up. Black dude, bald head. I shot him in the chest. He wouldn't die. I went to the fucking, I went to the store to try to buy something. And he was there, like asking for money. And I was looking at him. I'm like, I killed you. And then he was like, no, you didn't, man. He was speaking Jamaican-like. And then, okay, last thing before you leave. The police then came over and they said, oh, you killed him? And I'm like, yeah, I killed him a couple of nights ago. And they go, okay, you're arrested. So then they take us both to the police station and he's laughing the whole way. Ha ha, you thought you killed me. Ha ha, you thought you killed me. And then I'm sitting down and the police go, we gotta take your gun. They take my gun and they give me a television antenna.
Okay, so I'm gonna interpret your dream.
Okay, let's go.
I take this to mean that every time you try to escape your problems and you try to fight it off, whatever you're currently going through, it keeps coming back. That is what I'm going to take that of. You try to shoot it away. You try to leave the house, go distract yourself doing something else, and the problem keeps coming up. So you got to deal with it. Whatever your issue is, whatever the problem is, you need to face it head on and you need to deal with it. You can't violently get rid of it. You can't escape it and think it's going to go away. You got to deal with it head on.
You know, when you said that, you know what I started thinking about? Every time I try to leave, everything pulling me back, telling me that I need you in my life. You know that joint?
Yes, I do know it. Now, music, yes, I can usually no. That's what's going on, Van. Deal with whatever it is you're going through.
Who knows?
See?
When I snap,
you see how
I'll tell you one thing. When I snap, though,
you're in the process. You were snapping.
Oh, it's
an active.
You guys don't
thing.
understand. My brain is being pulled apart. Like when it happens, I'm gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be y'all that's gonna be like all upset about it.
Why don't you just before you? Keep forgetting I'm not on the mic. Before you go out of town again,
the grapes.
Stop that, Van. Before you go out of town again, why don't you just like take a break?
No.
See, you won't get out of your way.
It doesn't serve anyone. How can I take a break?
You.
How can I take a break when everybody needs something? It doesn't serve anyone. No one gives a fuck If I take a break, how can I take a break when everybody has to have something?
We're gonna redirect the podcast.
Everyone has to have something. Everyone needs something.
What's the power? Do you ever tell people no?
I try to.
And do you say no again?
Yeah. Okay. You say
okay.
no,
Laugh at it, make fun of it. I'm a middle child. I'm used to being a people pleaser.
Yeah, but that's
and
different.
And I had to learn. No, I'm not saying I have the same problems as you. My point is I have a really hard time letting people down and not doing what they asked of me. And then once I did that first big no,
fuck it,
all y'all.
But it's also like, I don't know. It's all me. I'll figure it out. All right, on the other side of this, Jerrod Carmichael explains the joke about slave play with his white boyfriend. What the fuck is going on?
Guys, we're going to turn this podcast into a healing session because it's happening. It's happening.
It's funny to see what I'm talking about. What the fuck? Okay, fine, let's do that. All right, on the other side of the break. Jerrod Carmichael went on the Breakfast Club to take Charlamagne to task about something that we talked about here on the podcast. Now, on his show, which is a delightfully bizarre look into his life, he talked about a joke, or he made a joke on the show.
He made a joke on the show.
And it was about a joke that he says to his boyfriend.
Yes, about a master-slave relationship.
Master-slave relationship. And here on this podcast and other places, people were rightly outraged, in my opinion.
Took it to mean it was role play in a sexual way.
Role play in a sexual way. Sex massa. Drum. You saw Drum.
I didn't see Drum, but I'm aware of it thanks to you.
Okay, this is
What's
what we're
the
gonna
main
do.
character's name again?
In Drum? Drum.
Oh. I haven't seen it.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Hoedown party, Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Emphasis on the...
Ho. Before this party, you come to the crib, we watch a Drum.
Pretty Hair's going to be in town.
I would love to show Pretty Hair Drum. I think she can handle it.
Do you have it purchased?
I can purchase it. The movie is available for purchase. You can stream Drum, but this is what Drum, Mandingo.
Drum.
My dad, rest in peace to my dad. I wish I could ask him for advice right now. Rest in peace to him. He was so into these Drum, Mandingo-like movies. I wonder if something was going on with my dad where he liked to see like white slave master ladies get dominated by black men. If there was some kind of weird freak shit, Blacked.com before this, because he loved the movie like that was set in that time, like a blaxploitation slave movie where these brothers was having sex with these white women.
Well, I'm sure the movie was more than that.
Not really.
Oh.
I mean, it's more than that, but it's whatever. Moving on. Play the audio from Jerrod Carmichael, Ashleigh.
You played a clip of my stand-up, but it started at the punchline, and it like completely erased the setup of it, and I really don't like that. It made it seem like I was talking like I'm into some type of race, sexual, slavery role play with my boyfriend, which is untrue. It's so false. And I expect that type of thing from TMZ because they have no humanity. They don't care about the people that get hurt when they report these sort of things. But you're a friend, so I really didn't like that. I know you repeated it in the Neil interview. I didn't like that. That was very, very unfair. It was a joke.
I saw that clip though.
But yeah, but I need you to watch the show. And anybody who watches the show, it's not what I said.
Yeah,
it's so false. It's so untrue, and I don't like that because it's like no. Well, we'll get into that later.
It's a joke about reading.
It has nothing to do with my boyfriend. It has nothing like the sex that we have. It has nothing to do with sex. It's something that like people have been reporting on, and I really, really don't like it. It's about my boyfriend reading so much. He makes me feel insecure about my level of reading. And look, I get it. It's something that people have been running with because I have a white boyfriend, so like people like try and create some type of crazy story out of that. Like, and it's a small group of people, really. Like I read all the tweets, and it's like some gay black men and some Ku Klux Klan members who don't like that I have a white boyfriend. They agree on that, so congratulations. Like the Klan and Dr. Umar, and you know, some people find some common ground on that. But he's a human being. He deserves respect. I deserve respect. I don't appreciate things being misreported or like said about him in that way. It's completely false. So I don't like that. I just want to make that clear. That's not something I know you were just reading the news, but like you're a friend and I want you to like actually have nuance with these stories. Like, look, I'm a human being and like people can get hurt. There are actually real lives at stake with the things that you say. And look, come after me. That's fine. But don't come after like my boyfriend who has.
I don't think we came at your boyfriend though. We knew it was about you.
Well, I'm saying when that's in the headline and that's reported, like, and then misreported, like, oh, he's into race slave play with his white boyfriend. I don't like that headline because it's false. It's not true at all. Now, on to Dave Chappelle.
No, I want to stick to the joke though. In context, the joke's still not a good joke.
Well, that's on you. Listen, I've been a professional comedian for a while. I got some
because you're still saying you're a slave. He's a slave master, and the slave master is teaching the slave to read.
You know, listen, I'm talking about my own personal insecurity. I'm an educated person. I'm usually the smartest person in the room. He reads so much, it makes me feel like, oh, do I even know how to read? That joke works if I had a black boyfriend. My boyfriend were black. That joke actually works better if I had a black boyfriend.
And you the slave and the white person is the slave.
Listen, if you are...
And you're from North Carolina where know the first anti-literacy laws were created in North and South Carolina.
Sure. But that's not my role as a comedian to start getting into like literacy laws and stuff like that. You've completely lost it. I evoke provocative imagery sometimes in my jokes. Some people are very sensitive to that. That's your right. You don't have to laugh at that. You could like hear the word slavery and completely shut off. That's completely fine. But don't misconstrue what I said and don't like make it into something that it's not, because that's where I start to get offended.
Put the joke in there too, Ashleigh. Like just to remind everybody what the joke is.
Let's go back and let's actually do that now in real time.
He makes me smarter. He makes me read. Like, you know, I have so many books, too many books. Like, more books. Realistically, I'm not gonna read all them damn books. Like, he know that. But, like, the fact that I bought them says I love you. They're like just little monuments to him around my apartment. They're like, look at this book from Amazon that I'm never gonna read. I sometimes joke to him that, like, our relationship is like that. Of like a slave and the master's son who like teaches me how to read by candlelight. Yeah, he groans too because he's a good person. He doesn't like that joke. I like that joke. That's my burden. I think that's hilarious. Yes, sir. Marie Antoinette, sir. I don't know what that is. You know, that's a joke. That's for me.
Rachel, you went back and watched the whole thing. What did you think?
I have the same opinion.
Why?
And I feel like, and again, who am I to tell Jerrod what he meant by that joke? But if that had been a standalone joke, then maybe I could understand what it was that he was saying. If I was at his stand-up and he's just telling that joke, then maybe I would say, oh, the reference is, you know, the reading and him being insecure about how much his boyfriend reads, and it makes him feel like the way he described it, of a master-slave relationship. But when you couple that joke with everything that he has done, because that's episode 2 in the first 2 episodes, and the themes, the underlying themes of the show, which are sex, interracial relationships, as well as other themes too, to me, when you put all that together, and he does use the word role play earlier, when you put all that together, how would you not deduce from that an audience would say, hey, he's talking about role play in a sexual way. He's acting out master slave, whether it's
what
in a reading context.
Of the joke? When you watch the joke,
I knew he was talking about it in a reading context, but still I thought it was foreplay for sex. I still thought, oh, this is what we do to get in the mood for sex. That's how I coupled it all together. Maybe if I wasn't watching it in the show and how that whole episode goes, I would have seen it in a different way. But to me, I have to tie sex into it because of how the rest of the show, episode 3 is not like that, but episode 1 and 2 are.
Yeah. Episode 3 demonstrates one of the most devastating acts of poor friendship that I've ever seen before in my life.
Which he acknowledges.
Jerrod Carmichael is... The show is brutally honest to the point to where episode 3, I started to hate that nigga.
I wonder if he still has that friendship with that friend.
Well, they seemingly got it right at the end.
He said that. So, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, his friend comes to visit him. They've been friends since
I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
The guy's
fucking
wedding who he missed.
Well, you said they get it right in the end. I don't remember.
He came back and apologized. Whatever. Who knows?
He said he hasn't talked to him since.
Wrong. You didn't watch the whole thing.
I did.
Liar! If you had watched the whole thing, you'd have seen that at the end, he pops up on this guy in Atlanta and he goes to visit him and you didn't watch it.
Oh, maybe I didn't.
You didn't finish it. You know what happened? You had a PP, a pork pass out. You were watching the show. You were fucking halfway through.
I think I stopped halfway
Oscar
through.
Mayer pack of honey baked ham.
Ew, no.
Because you just eat those. You just pop those.
Mm-mm.
My dad used to do
to.
that. My dad used to.
I used to
pop,
too.
Bang, bang, bang.
Like a chip. I used to as well.
Just eat them. I'd be like, nigga, stop putting your fuck. Anyway.
What was when you heard the joke? Like, were you?
So I didn't see that whole episode. When I heard the joke.
Okay. So you were basing it off of just what we played.
The clip. And I do think he's got a point that it's kind of, the joke is, so you're right and he's right. You're right in that the show depicts him not just with his boyfriend.
A sexual deviant.
Oh my God.
But self-admittingly, right? He's talking about cheating on his boyfriend. He's on the phone with his boyfriend, I love you. And then an episode ends and he's like swiping on Grindr. He's saying, I'm like a 17-year-old. I'm new to this. So he's talking about how like horny and stuff he is. Maybe sexual deviant's harsh.
Whatever. That's how you felt. I respect it. This is what I'm saying. This is a cavalcade of white. Like the guys that Jerrod Carmichael is with on the show is like the fucking cast of Black Hawk Down. It's just this like fucking entourage. It's a cavalcade of white men, all shapes and sizes. Tall white guys with mustaches, short white guys, doughy white guys, lean white guys, all different types of white guys. He got some Chris Pines in there. He got some Chris Evans in there. You know what I'm saying? He's got different types of whites. He's got a Chris Pratt or two in there. He's going for white, is what I'm saying. And so when you see that, a lot of people are already uncomfortable with his assortment of white. And then on top of that, you see him make a joke. The joke is coming from a place of distrust because you don't trust that he properly loves on himself and black people. Now, I'm going to apologize to Jerrod Carmichael for something.
Okay.
For two things. I'm going to apologize to Jerrod Carmichael for. One is because I did base my opinion off of the clip. And the clip in that way isn't accurate to what he was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I'm going to apologize to Jerrod Carmichael for giving a fuck whether or not he likes white boys or not. I don't fucking care. I've decided something. Couldn't care less. Fuck it. Like, hey, listen. Fuck all the white people you want. All right? When we call on you, be ready. I don't care. All I'm saying. Like, it with the amount of things that are actually happening in the world, for me to give a fuck that Jerrod Carmichael just falls into a Walmart in Salt Lake City, Utah, and just fucks all of the white men in there, the fact that he just loves white as much as he does, and he has to fuck every white man that he sees, like you could drop him in the middle of CPAC, and his dick would be like insanely hard for the entire conference. White. Whatever. I bet Denmark, Norway, these are his places.
Okay.
So I'm saying, so I'm saying that being the case, that's his fucking business. I don't give a fuck.
It's great to apologize.
And I am disappointed in myself that I cared that he loves white ass.
You know what? You're not the only one who expressed disappointment. And what I find interesting is a lot of Black gay men are very upset with the depiction that they're seeing on this show. Like from people that I talk about, or even certain people I listen to, or that I read what they write, they're not thrilled at this because of the representation that they feel like doesn't correctly show Black gay men. And my initial response was, well, obviously not everyone is the same. He's speaking particularly to his journey in being a Black gay man. But I would think that just like every Black woman on TV doesn't represent, they're all different. They represent different things. I would think that an audience person watching that would do the same thing about Jerrod. Like, oh, well, not all Black gay men. And my friends were like, that's not true. It is rare that you see a Black gay man in this space. And so for a middle America who doesn't know anybody that's gay or Black and gay might think, oh, that's how all Black gay men are. And that coupled with the fact that HBO has canceled a lot of Black content, but this is what you choose to show, has a lot, I want to say a lot, that's extreme, but several people that I've either listened to or talked to upset with the depiction of Black gay men on this, because they don't have a lot of it, which is a point that Jerrod makes, which I actually agree with. He's making content that he never saw on TV. He's making content, he said, things he wished he would have seen. I'm paraphrasing. But a lot of people keep saying a lot. Several people are upset.
Okay, so we have to put two people, we have to put Black people, or people, period, in two different buckets.
Okay.
And we have to make a decision that once we put these people in these buckets, that we stop devoting our energy to them. Because it's not their energy, it's our energy that gets changed. There's two buckets. There's the give a fuck it bucket.
Okay.
And there's the don't give a fuck it bucket. Okay? They're two different buckets. Now, the people that say that they give a fuck, we have to be able to hold them accountable for whether or not they give a fuck. But if somebody says that they don't give a fuck, we have to be willing to not care. For us, we have to be willing to not care. Jerrod Carmichael obviously doesn't care about how Black gay men are portrayed in this show.
No, he
because
doesn't.
If he did care, maybe he would be moving differently. So since he doesn't care, we have to not continually project onto him our care.
Okay.
We have to save our criticism and our love and our support and our investment for the people who are saying that they care. Because there's plenty of people who are saying that they care and aren't doing the things that they need to be doing.
Okay. So the reason I can't agree with that is because, go ahead, take your time. All right. The reason I can't agree with that is because he doesn't care. He cares about telling his story and doesn't care the impact that it might have on a certain community or how it might affect anybody else. There's power in that. I get that. The reason why I can't subscribe to the thought of, hey, we have to not care too because he doesn't, is if I apply that to somebody else. You brought up Candace Owens earlier. Candace Owens, now she's singing a different tune. Don't do that. I know it's a trigger for you right now.
It's not the same.
Why is it not the same? If Candace
because
Owens,
she's saying that she cares. That's the difference. What she's saying is
now she's saying
no.
Before she
no.
Okay, man.
You
got one more time to yell at me like that before I'm gonna give you one more temper tantrum.
She's saying that she cares. That's the whole problem. She's saying that she cares. And she's not saying, hey, I just don't care about what happens to Black people. She's saying she deeply cares, and because she deeply cares, she's saying she's offering up the real story of Black people or the actual experience of Black people or the way that Black people should be acting and reacting and all of that stuff.
Okay,
She's saying that she cares.
I feel like that's a newer narrative.
No.
I feel like that happened towards the end of her Shapiro days, like maybe within the last couple of years, because people were really calling her out even more so. And obviously in this new narrative where she's trying to brainwash Black people. But I feel like when she started out, I feel like she didn't really care.
No, she was incessantly she wrote a book called Blackout.
Yes, I know.
She led a movement called Blexit.
I know.
It was focused on like her whole thing is about talking to Black people about how she feels like they should be.
I believe that she didn't. If she did, then that takes away the point that I was trying to make. But my point I was trying to make is she doesn't care about Black people and she doesn't care how they're perceived and she doesn't care how she represents herself as a Black woman. And if I subscribe to what you were saying, then I have to go ahead and say, oh, I don't care how that impacts us as a community or how other people think about us. But if you say that she cares, then that changes what I. This
is what I'm saying though. This is to me, honestly.
I didn't do it.
To me, honestly, this is the right argument. The right argument is who cares, who doesn't, and how we negotiate that. That's the right argument. But from someone that says, "Hey, I'm just me." For example, I'll give you an example of somebody. A Jamie Foxx.
What about him?
Jamie Foxx just does his thing.
But is whatever he's doing, is it controversial in any way?
We have put Jamie Foxx in a situation of that's not like a serious cultural voice. Like Jamie Foxx, to me, like communicates with us via art. Nobody cares that Jamie Foxx dates white women. Nobody cares how safe Jamie Foxx is. Nobody cares what Jamie Foxx has to say about this. Jamie Foxx is so culturally authentic to us to where like no one's gonna be like, hey, we're into this situation. Like nobody's mad that Jamie Foxx pulls up with a white woman every different time. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares because Fox is not out here saying, I'm going to save Blacks. That's what I'm saying. Fox is not out here saying, I'm going to save Black America. I care about Black people, all of this stuff like that. I'm not saying that he doesn't feel that way. So, but what I'm saying is he's in that kind of bucket, right? The people that are in the bucket that say that they care, but people don't know whether or not they care, Van Jones, like all of those types of people, that's how they feel about him. I'm not saying whether or not they're true or not. I'm not trying to pick a fight, but all I'm saying is those are the people, because then we're having a conversation about best practices. Is there a right way to care? Is there a right way to go about it? Is there a way that goes to go about having tough conversations with Black people or moving the culture forward that is effective? And then is there a way to do it that is ineffective? Is there a way to do it that causes harm? Is there a way to do it that might be uncomfortable but needed, right?
Yeah.
So that to me, but Jerrod Carmichael is obviously saying, hey, I don't really care. This is my life. And boom, I'm out. So stressing out about what he does is just going to make us upset.
Not stressing out. It's just a point of conversation because it is content that we hadn't seen before. What I will say about Jamie Foxx, it's not because he's not out here talking about the cause publicly, even though, yes, we do know he supports it. It's that he doesn't put his personal life out there. Like you might see him rolled up because you see a picture with him, but he's not saying, hey, I only date white women. This is what I do. Like I don't mess with Black. He's not putting it out there in that way. So he's not as controversial as what we're talking about with Jerrod. If he has a reality show and we see a bunch of him with only white women, then the conversation, I think it would bring a different thing to light. But what I'll say about Jerrod is in response to you saying we have to negotiate, Jerrod's living his life and that's the way he wants to live it. And he's like, forget anything y'all have to say. If he in addition said, and this is where I think negotiation happens, if he in addition said, this is me, and I'm depicting my reality, that's why it's a reality show, but I'm not standing here saying that this is a representation of all Black
Why would he have to say that?
I'm literally dreaming up a scenario of negotiation. I didn't say he had to say that. You said you're either in the fuck it bucket or the fuck it not bucket, whatever. And you said the only way to move things forward is to negotiate. And I am saying that is a form of negotiation. If he's in an interview and he's like, I never said that this is what all Black gay men do. I'm telling my story. That's what I'm saying. I didn't say he has to. I'm literally fitting into what you put together.
Last thing I say is like a guy like Gambino, right?
Yes.
Heavily black criticism of America, this is America type situation, all of that type of stuff. The art speaks to these things. People are going to look at him in a specific way. There are people who say, hey, I don't want to be involved in that. I just want to. Will was like that for a very long. Will kind of is like that. So it's like, I don't want to. Smith.
Oh.
Damn, you forgot the nigga's name. You were like.
I didn't know we were on a one-name basis. I didn't know we just say Will.
The provost over at USC has announced that the valedictorian won't speak at the graduation because of the conflict in the Middle East.
Pretty hair. I said, have you ever seen the movie Drum?
Mm-hmm.
She said, I think so. Didn't like it as much as Mandingo.
Oh, my God. Whoa. Oh, didn't like it as much as Mandingo. I'm telling you. These movies, this is of Pretty Hair's generation. Drum and Mandingo are a sequel to each other. Pretty Hair?
She surprised me.
I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. So many jokes I could make.
I know,
okay.
I know.
So the Office of the Provost sent an email Monday to the student body over at USC announcing that the valedictorian will not be speaking at the this year's graduation based on maintaining campus security and safety. That's what the email read. The decision is not only necessary to maintain the safety of our campus and our students, but is consistent with the fundamental legal obligation, including the expectations of federal regulators, that universities act to protect our students and keep our campus community safe. It's a message to the USC community. The valedictorian's name is Asna Tabassum. She feels like she's abandoned by the university. That's what she said. Anti-Muslim and anti-Palestinian voices have subjected me to a campaign of hatred because of my uncompromising belief in the human rights for all. I was hoping to use my commencement speech to inspire my classmates with a message of hope. By canceling my speech, USC is only caving to fear and rewarding hatred. She released this in a 2-page segment. Okay, in a 2-page statement, should I say. Okay. This has become news.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
I saw her on Abby Phillips. I've seen this talked about, volleyed around right now. Obviously, in the times that we live in, this is going to be a hot button issue. Rachel, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think it's cowardly on the part of USC because I think for someone to work hard for 4 years and dedicate herself to the school and the community and, to her studies and to represent USC, what I think to be in an upstanding way, it's disappointing that you would take that away from her. I'm sure this is something that she was working towards and looking forward to. And I think that there were other options. She could have, if you were concerned for her safety, because the problem is that they're saying that there have been these threats and they're concerned for her safety. But when she and her team inquired about what are those threats, they won't give them anything. They won't give them any kind of information. So she doesn't even know how she's supposedly supposed to be protected. So in my opinion, there are other options. She could have written a letter. They could have read it. They could have let her do it in a different location. Put her up on screen. It could have been a digital thing. She could have been at a remote location live doing it. There were other options to give her the opportunity to speak to her message was supposed to be about hope. So to speak to the students about hope. And they took that away from her. And also, if they were afraid of something that she was going to say, not that I think that they should have been or that they should have changed anything that she had to say, then a letter or, her taping something and it playing could have been options as well. And if they're so concerned for her safety, does that mean she can't attend her graduation? Does that mean anybody who's of Palestinian descent or has spoken in favor of human rights, does that also mean that their safety is in jeopardy as well? It just is extremely disappointing to see. And when you couple that with the fact that the university was under pressure by groups that support Israel that were calling for her not to be able to and saying that her speech was going to be about anti-Semitism, it's just a shame that this young lady is being subjected to this, which in itself is its own form of hate.
USC is lying.
Of course.
There have been people that have talked at USC. I think Milo Yiannopoulos talked at USC not too long ago. And there was like, well, it would have been some time ago. His shit is cold as ice now. But not to Kanye. And he spoke there. He talked there. And there was heightened security. They checked bags. They did all kinds of different stuff and did all different types of things to make sure that people were safe. If this were a Jewish student who had had an opportunity that they had worked for X amount of years, and there was some thought that there would be, in some way, commentary on what's going on over there, and it was pro-Israel, and then they were not allowed to speak because of security reasons, this would be a fucking nightmare, right? We wouldn't hear the end of it. Okay. And honestly, the people that I've spoken to, the Jewish people that I've spoken to, are aghast at the decision.
It's bad.
This is a shameful moment in the history of USC. Mm-hmm. Shameful and completely transparent. And the fact, to me, that this was not safety. This was them censoring and manicuring what they feel like they want to be said at their commencement. Everything that we talk about in America is wrapped up in this. Number one, meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, what's a bigger meritocracy than the valedictorian? Now, I could find some things that aren't completely merit-based about it, whether or not you have money for tutors and where did you go and all that different stuff, whatever. But look, whoever has the best grades gets to speak. You're the valedictorian, you get to talk. It's part of the thing. Boom, 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 boom. So American, meritocracy right there. Boom. Everyone tells us. They keep telling us that over and over again. Number two, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Freedom to go up there and express yourself, especially when you've earned the right to speak. When we talk about freedom of speech, like everybody has freedom of speech, say whatever, but there's specific different parts of this country where you have to earn the right to speak. You have to earn the right to talk to someone. You have to earn this out of a pool of people. She earned it. And she's supposed to be free to say it. That's being taken away. At the very least here, like you said, the onus would be on them to explain why in this particular case, when there have been controversial speakers to come to the campus before, why in this particular case, things were so dire that you had to change up doing something that you essentially do every year.
Yeah.
I'm calling upon people who say that they love free speech and people who say that they love meritocracy and people who say that they love America and what is earned in this country, and people who say that freedom is one of the tenets of our existence here. I want to know why I haven't heard some of these people on this. I want to know why. I want to know why freedom only... I'm serious. Like, this is the same shit that I'm talking about. This is why I can't let the fucking Kaepernick thing go. Everybody, I can't let it go. Why? You know why I can't let it go? Because he did some free shit, some free American shit, and then everybody decided it wasn't the right type of freedom, so they kicked him in his fucking ass for it, and then after a while, we just went, oh, they were right to do that. No, what I'm telling you is America isn't about freedom, it's about the right type of freedom. It's about white, American, hyper-patriotism, that type of freedom. It's about acceptable freedom. It's never about dangerous freedom. It's never about subversive freedom. It's never about freedom to do things. It's not about freedom with your body. A whole bunch of fucking lies. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the whole thing. And now, because of this young lady doesn't get, it's her moment. She earned her moment. USC ought to be ashamed of themselves.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
All right. WNBA. I see you got the shirt on. That's the ladies right there. Who's on that shirt?
Isn't it Cheryl?
Is it her?
Could totally have made that up.
I don't know.
Let's look that up.
All right. People are pissed. Caitlin Clark is going to make $338,000 over 4 years. That is crazy.
Okay, the logo didn't take after any player in particular for the WNBA.
She looked black, though.
I thought it was Cheryl. She does look black.
She looks black.
Or it looks like Cynthia. It could be Cynthia.
Cynthia Cooper.
Yeah.
Lipstick.
I loved it.
Yeah, I love her. Look, the gap between Caitlin Clark's WNBA salary and her male counterparts has drawn outrage, guys. Okay, so Caitlin Clark is on the WNBA rookie scale. She was drafted number 1. Congratulations to her.
Yes.
Congratulations to the Bayou Barbie, who I think went 7 to Chicago. They got Cardoza.
I know.
What the shit? Chicago killing. So she's going to earn $76,000 for the first year, $78,000 for the second year, and $85,000 for the third, with a fourth-year option of $97,000. That is the pay scale for the WNBA. Now, for comparison, Victor Wembanyama, who was the number 1 pick in last year's NBA draft, got a $55 million contract. 4 years, $55 million. He made $12.1 million in his first season. So he made $12.1 million in his first year. She's going to make $76,000. A WNBA spokesperson said that the $76,000 sum is just a part of what Caitlin Clark will make in the league. She said this: Caitlin Clark stands to make $500,000 or more in the WNBA earnings in the coming season, in addition to what she'll receive through endorsements and other partnerships, which is already reported to exceed $3 million, a league spokeswoman said. So this has caused more speculation and more conversation around the topic, shall I say, that people have been talking about for some years now, which is pay in the WNBA, particularly pay in the WNBA, in comparison with the NBA.
Oh, there's no question. Okay.
No question.
Wait. Say the last part again. I'm sorry. I'm distracted from what I just read.
In comparison to the NBA, pay.
Yeah.
Pay disparities is what we're talking about. Disparities in pay.
You want to know my thoughts on it?
Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Okay. Sorry, I apologize, guys.
It's okay. Stuff happens.
It's definitely happening.
Yeah.
So we've talked about pay disparity, particularly in the WNBA, before on this podcast because it's always been an issue. And we've talked about it just in women's sports in general. But I know it stands out more to the point where you even have the president of the United States making a comment because of the increased spotlight that has been on collegiate women's basketball and because they're moving into the WNBA, professional women's basketball, and specifically the spotlight has been on Caitlin Clark. So I feel like you're bringing all these new fans and this new attention to the sport of women's basketball who might not have been aware of the history in regards to what the players are paid and how they have to go overseas or rely on endorsement deals, and now NIL coming in before that. So this has always been a problem. I mean, this is a problem in our country, period. The disparity between men and women when it comes to the gender pay gap, the disparity between Black women in particular when it comes to white women and even men, or I should say men and even white women when it comes to disparity in pay. So I think that it's so prevalent with Caitlin Clark, not just because I said she has a spotlight, but because of how she has a spotlight. Broke records in college. Teams are literally changing arenas that they're supposed to play the Indiana Fever in anticipation of the crowd that Caitlin will bring in. They set the record. Well, it had been, I think I read since 2019 that many people had watched college basketball in a championship game before. They scored more than the men, which also, if that continues, and I scored more than men, sorry. They
rated higher.
They rated higher than the men, which if that continues, and that totally takes away the whole argument of they're being paid less or they should be paid less.
It wouldn't.
Okay,
not
we can get into that. Not for the one time. I said if it continues. If it continues in this way, then they can't keep saying, well, we bring in bigger numbers. Well, no, the women would bring in bigger numbers. I'm saying if it continued in this way, not after one game. That's not going to be the case.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But anyways, it's the fact that 17,000 people came up to watch her get drafted, in Indiana. It's this excitement, it's this anticipation, and then bam, you find out that she's only making $70-something thousand a year. This is the kind of outrage you need to really make some type of change. I mean, in addition to people supporting and watching and buying merchandise and all of that, but you need more eyes, you need more attention in order to have more outrage, which is what's happening now. It's the perfect storm for people to finally recognize how bad the disparity is between the men and the women. And I don't even think people are saying, hey, it's got to be equal. She needs $12 million like Victor got. But people are saying that it's so bad that there has to be something. Now, we know Caitlin will make it up in endorsements, but not every player that comes into the WNBA has an 8-figure, which is what it's rumored to be, endorsement deal from a brand.
Right.
Or has the opportunities to play overseas and make that money.
Okay, so here's the deal. This is why. So there's a lot of things that go into this. Number one, the way these things are structured. There's a TV deal. So even if next year the WNBA routinely beat the NBA, the revenue would change. The money from television deals might not change.
Sure.
Okay. Because these deals are worked out years and years before, so it's going to take some time for the salaries to inch up. But with more eyes comes more everything. This is the thing. I think you said one thing there that is, to me, the best way to look at this. Comparing a $200 million league to a $10 billion league, just it shuts the conversation down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, when I say $200 million league, the WNBA is on the fucking upswing.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the upswing. I mean, there was a jump a couple of years ago where they went from like $63 million in revenue or something like that to the $200 million number that we're talking about. And I can guarantee you right now that the revenue next year is going to be higher. It's probably going to be one of the biggest seasons in WNBA history in terms of viewership, merch sold, all of that stuff. Because of Caitlin Clark, but also because of Angel Reese and Camila Cardozo and other people that we know. There are a bunch of known entities coming into the league right now. It's different than it's ever been, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But the question is, how much should they be making, right? The questions have to be intellectual in a way. Something that you said is interesting. The outrage is necessary to change it. That's not what's necessary. It plays no point, like it plays no, there's no factor in it. Outrage, how people feel. It means 0%.
You're saying that in regards to the formula to pay them.
I'm saying you could be as mad as you want about the WNBA players not being paid commensurate with players in the NBA or not being paid more money. Your anger is not going to change a thing. Your participation...
I said that.
I know. But what I'm saying is one of those things is the whole ball of wax. The other one means absolutely nothing.
Well, what I'm saying is I say more eyes, more attention, more outrage, because that is what you need to then take that and put that energy into those things. Like if people are indifferent about it, if people are like, yeah, that kind of sucks, which is what they did before, right? Yeah, that sucks, the women don't get paid the same. And then everybody was just like, but when you're like invested, particularly emotionally, usually people act on that. That would be my thing.
So you think that people are going to watch the WNBA because they're mad that Caitlin Clark isn't getting paid?
Well, I think that if they know it can help towards better payment for these women, I guarantee there are a lot of new people watching. That many, 24 million people watched that South Carolina,
so let me tell you,
Iowa game.
Let me tell you something. the only reason why those people even know is because they're paying attention. The only thing that matters is whether or not people support the league.
Absolutely.
And so, like, to me, if you're upset, if you're angry, the wage gap, pay gap argument here is a cultural one, right? The NBA was started in 1946. 1946, the NBA was started. The WNBA was started, I think, in 1997. All right? So 50 years. 50-year head start. The average pay for an NBA player in 1971 was $90,000. Now, $90,000 today is a lot more than the average WNBA player salary, which I think is like $150,000 or $200,000. So it's probably the league is still lagging behind a little bit. But there was a boom period for the NBA where the salaries changed. Magic Johnson signed a lifetime deal with the Lakers. And I think the contract was like 25 years, $25 million or something like that. It's like $1 million a year. Or maybe it was 10 years, $10 million. I can't remember what it was. I actually looked that up. But the money changed in the early 90s. The league renegotiated their TV deal with NBC, and it was $600 million. And that was all the money in the world then. And then once the $600 million comes in, the salaries change, the endorsement change. This is post-Jordan, this is post-Bird, this is post-Magic, and everybody cares dearly about the NBA. Maybe that will happen now. This is the opportunity for it to happen now.
Yeah.
It will only happen if people support the league. You will not think piece yourself into these women making more money.
Right.
You will not protest yourself into these women making more money. You will not tweet yourself into these women making more money. You can only participate yourself into these women making more money. And to be honest with you, the best proving ground of the women's game ever, the women's game has been thriving for a long time. And people like Jordan Liggins and Janae and all of these people who have been championing the women's game and really, and Jackson and other people that I know that have really been, Tommy Alter, who is a diehard fan of the W, right? People who love the women's game have been talking about how great the women's game is for a very long time. But what we've seen now, is that the casual sports fan can be invested into the women's game at a level that outpaces the men's game if the storylines and players and basketball is exciting enough.
And that's something important too. We've talked about the media, but it's not just showcasing and having their games on, it's getting the audience interested. So knowing the background stories, like we get these 30 for 30s, or we wouldn't have that, but like an E60 or whatever it is that showcases these women and what they went through, or connects them to another player, or their dad played in the NBA, or that, like those type of things that interest an audience. That's kind of what we need more of.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I worked for the NBA, I interned for the NBA right out of college, and our project was to work with the WNBA.
Oh, I remember you told me this, yeah.
And we put together a marketing campaign, and what we discovered were there were a lot of players who had connection to NBA players, whether it was their dad, their uncle, their brother, and we were talking about pairing the two together and putting some type of commercial to show that synergy between NBA and WNBA. Now, of course, they didn't use it, but I'm just saying that's the kind of stuff that I would love to see, and love to see how that person helped this person, or how they, like their games are alike, or whatever it be, or see that person at the game supporting, that WNBA player.
Do you know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the hate for the WNBA game, where it comes from the most for me? pick up basketball nigga that never made it. If you want somebody to talk bad about the WNBA.
NBA too.
Wrong.
Really?
If you talk to, in my opinion.
Okay.
If you talk to those guys, the NBA players, they respect people that are able to play their game. They might not look at the WNBA players and be like, these players can fuck with us. Mm-hmm. But they respect players who are able to play their game, play basketball at the highest level. Like, they respect people who have put in the work, who grind, who compete. When you hear them talk about it, nah, you can't fuck with her. Nah, homie, you can't fuck with her. If you get in a conversation with NBA guys, like if you know a lot of guys in the league, when you hear nah, you can't fuck with her. I'm telling you, you can't fuck with her. You think you can. And then even if you can fuck with her, they'll be like, well, understand she's a better basketball player than you, because they care about being the best basketball player. They care about hooping. They care about skills. They care about competing. They are supportive. Mm-hmm. The person that's making this argument against the WNBA, I'm telling you, it's pick up basketball nigga that never made it. Pick up basketball nigga that never made it goes super hard when a lady comes into the gym. Because he is unsure about his basketball ability. Sure. He doesn't know where he could have gone if my coach wasn't hating on me, if it wasn't politics, if I wouldn't have strained my Achilles against Dutchtown in 2003. I could have been the man. Uncle Rico's. The Uncle Rico's. You never saw Napoleon Dynamite. The Uncle Rico's.
I did, and I know who Uncle Rico is.
Thank you. The Uncle Rico's. These are the guys that are like, man, them motherfuckers can't fuck with me. I fucked them over. I'll post her up. I tell you right now, I'll take her out the game. She can't do shit. These are guys that are unsure about themselves, the insecurity. But most people that high-level basketball players, they look at the game and they be like, yo, I respect that you did it.
That makes sense.
You know?
That's true.
All right. I want to say something before I leave. Shout out to King Charles.
It's his birthday?
No, King Charles, the show.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Charles Holmes. I was like, oh, is that what you call him? Keep going, sorry.
I noticed that while I turned my back, you snuck a grape.
But I didn't put him in my
mouth. This is my worst performance on the podcast ever, I think.
It is.
It is.
But you're not okay. But keep going.
It's cool. King Charles has ended this run. I want to say thank you to Charles, to Gayle for having me on the show. I was able to do the show 3 times. And the show itself is not going to continue. I had a lot of fun going up there to New York. I had fun with all my people at CNN. I'll be doing more CNN stuff. I have fun staying at the Equinox Hotel.
That's where they put you? That was real nice.
Equinox Hotel. You ever stayed there before?
No, I stayed at the Pendry. They share the same right there.
The Equinox Hotel is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
I love the Equinox Hotel.
I've looked at it. It's out of my range.
That's not true. It's not that bad.
It is pricing.
It's not that bad, though.
You're talking about the one in Chelsea, right?
No, wrong. I'm talking about the one, is it Chelsea? I don't know. Listen to me, I'm saying wrong. I don't know New York. I'm talking Hudson Yards. Is Hudson Yards in Chelsea?
Yeah, it's right there.
You know New York, don't you? You know what you are? I want to do a segment here where you just talk about your travels. Worldly Rach.
I don't want everybody to know how I move.
Where in the world is Rachel?
I was gone this week. I don't want everybody to know how I move.
Where'd you go?
Doesn't matter.
You don't care.
I don't care.
You don't care about where you go. We care. Ooh, people thought that there was some sparks between you and Bomani Jones.
People do that every single time we have a black man. Even when I was married, they were like, did you see how Rachel was just looking at him a little too hard? She was listening just a little too hard. They do that every time.
Yeah, they thought that there were some sparks. I can tell you something right now. You guys, we're about to go. I'll be honest with you. We're about to go, but I want to say something real quick. Before we leave, I want to send a shout out to Jontay Porter. He used to be in the league.
Why a shout out?
I want to shout him out. Jontay Porter said, look. Like Jontay Porter. I want to shout out Jontay Porter, man. If y'all don't know, Jontay Porter was banned after the NBA did an investigation and found out that this nigga was gambling his ass off. He wasn't just doing regular gambling. You know, this nigga was doing prop bets. Y'all have to understand how funny this is. It's like, y'all know like the prop bets, like, will a nigga get over 3 rebounds? Jontay Porter just bet on himself and they just wouldn't get the rebounds.
What was like leaving the game for an eye injury?
Leaving the game, eye injury. Will he play 3 minutes? That, like, the level to which Jontay Porter is somewhere, I don't know how he feels. I don't know how he can't feel bad.
He has to feel bad.
He can't feel bad. I don't think he feels bad.
I feel like they even shamed him. Why it was flagged? Because they were like, nobody bids on Jontay Porter.
Nobody's gonna bet on Jontay Porter.
Nobody's doing 5 figures on Jontay Porter.
So it's literally a fucking FBI egghead somewhere with glasses looking through NBA prop bets or somebody in the league and somebody just went, oh my God, hey, somebody just put 5 racks on Jontay.
It set off the algorithm.
Yeah.
That's how not smart it was. It set off the algorithm.
This nigga Jontay Porter doesn't give a fuck. He never gave a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck to such a degree that I'm rooting for him. Like Jontay Porter has to just completely, he has to get his own gambling pod and start a gambling show and just lean into it.
Actually, that's really smart.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because here's the thing. It's gambling in every sport to a degree that this is not the end of this. I know everybody's all touchy about, oh, don't talk too much about gambling. Every platform is involved in gambling and all of that stuff like that. Like, there've always been gambling scandals. There are always going to be gambling scandals, but this is the difference. Now, like you said, there are algorithms and there's heightened vigilance around maintaining the competitive integrity of these things.
Absolutely.
So they are going to want to catch people more, and they will.
Yes.
In the old days, you had to be caught up with the fucking mob, or it had to be some kind of crazy shit for them to catch you. Now, all of these leagues, the NBA, the baseball, all of these places, they are so girded up and sensitive around anything that threatens the competitive balance of their games that they're going to be looking to catch people. They're going to catch more people.
Well, one of the things, I do understand it to a point because these players are being incentivized. Like, for example, Jontay Porter, you know, he did well at Missouri, but then he got injured, towards ACL, got injured again, was in the G League, never amounted to what he could have been. You know, we'll never know because of those injuries. So he wasn't getting paid.
The nigga was in the NBA?
Right, but he was getting like, I think I read like $400,000 compared to like what he could have gotten post the injuries. And it took him a second to get to the league. So what you have is, particularly with prop bets, these people who harass these players to make, you know, do something quick or do something easy for them to be able to win big off of. And I think that's, you're seeing collegiately that they're even more terrified of prop bets and how these people are coming to these players individually and harassing them. And 3 states have already banned prop bets on collegiate. I don't know if it's just basketball or sports in general, but I think it's going to continue. I don't want to say a problem, but just with gambling being behind so many platforms and its money being involved, it's just interesting to see how they're going to be able to handle this. Gambling's legal in most states. It's money is everywhere.
Let me say this, man. Shout out to Jontay Porter, man. You that nigga. I don't know what you're gonna do now. You say that he wasn't gonna.
No, your idea is fantastic. You should reach out.
Look, Jontay Porter is only 24, so the reality is, yeah, he had made it to the NBA by 24. He really likes to gamble because this nigga said, "Fuck it, I'm with it." This nigga, this nigga,
he likes to cheat.
Jontay Porter is the man. How about that? What was I saying before we got on that though? Oh yeah, the playbook. Yeah. So before we go, we gotta go. We leaving money on the table with the playbook. Okay. People love the playbook. No one cares about anything as much. We could have done a whole episode here. Since I'm not feeling that great about myself, we could have done a whole episode of the playbook. It would have right to the top. Everyone cares about the playbook. The playbook is the only thing on people's mind. People love the playbook.
It's on your mind.
No, wrong. You keep saying it's on my mind. Everywhere I go, when people ask me, Van, who is Rachel gonna date? They love to ship you
down.
and match you.
I'm down with it. I have put myself out there. I've been open to it.
Playbook
I have
Thursdays.
a birthday party. I have a birthday party this weekend. You have the opportunity to be bringing me eligible people.
Wrong, because when I tried to invite people to the birthday party, I was told that there was a limit of people that could come to the party.
We do have to pay per
See
head.
what I'm saying? All right, we got to go. I was like, I can invite some guys. No, you can't invite anyone. We got a list of people, and outside that list, nobody can come.
Khalik and I are throwing it together, guys.
Yeah. All right. Take your caps off, but do not stop learning. I am Van Lathan Jr., soon to be snapped and going crazy on Hollywood Boulevard.
I'm Rachel Lindsay. Bye, guys. Why Hollywood Boulevard?